Hello viewers, Flash Motorsport here and welcome to BeamNG at the Nurburgring. I thought I'd try something different out here. Why not try and do the Nurburgring on BeamNG in a bus? It is an automatic gearbox, but it's going into manual mode. Because I left it in automatic. I did do a trial run on this, and sometimes when the coach lifted off the wheels, it decided to go down the gears and I blew the engine a fair few times. Going into the red a little bit, coming down the hill we're going to go. You see on the left hand side, in the middle, we have the brake temperatures, and that is going to be a crucial factor in this race. Coming down the hill, looking over to the right side, we're doing a whole 64 miles per hour. Absolute blazing speed in the bus. Cannot go grumbling at that. It is downhill, so we do have gravity on our side. We're braking down to third gear, get the revs up, turn again, we're swaying right over, and we're coming out the other side barely alive. Rubbing that curb on the left hand side, dabbing onto the brakes onto the right hand curb, and a little bit more braking power as we go around this left hander. Power back on as soon as possible to make sure we can keep the speed going. If you look at the top right hand part of the screen, I have a load of statistics of the back wheel lifted, and statistics of coolant temperature, oil temperature, block temperature, and all the nerdy stuff that I quite like to see. And bottom left hand side, you'll see my throttle position, parking brake and clutch. Clutch is irrelevant because it's an automatic. Just above that shows you the engine RPM, gear, power, and fuel consumption. And to the left hand side of that, and in the space just below it, will be engine damage if I create any, if it gets too hot or anything like that. It'll label it up and tell you what the problem is. And that is the screen pretty much out of the way. Like I said, I quite like having that stuff on the top right hand side. I like all that stuff. Coming down through this fast part of the section of the track, we do not have a restricted coach. I took the limiter off, so we're getting up to 87 miles per hour up the hill a little bit. As we come round to this next corner, we're going to keep ourselves flat out. We're not going to let off on here. We're going to be brave. Coach is leaning right over. All those 11s, almost 12 tons worth of weight on one axle. Braking hard down into fourth gear. Braking into third. Getting it around this corner. Accelerating as early as possible. Great thing about it, you know, the power-wise, I do spin up the wheels a little bit here and there as we're leaning into these corners, but it's not enough to make it understeer. Coming down this narrow section right now, flat out again, getting up to 80 miles per hour now, 85, 87, 90 miles per hour, not going to let off, 97 miles, 98, and turning in, just a clip of 99 miles per hour, rubbing this curb on the left hand side, really getting over there, and I'm going to be braking hard as I can, locking up a little bit, because I forgot it doesn't have ABS. Oh, that is some brave moves right there. Turning in now. Coach is leaning right over. Gonna keep my foot right in it. I'm not gonna let off. Get this turbo going. Get the power on as soon as possible. And we're getting out of that corner now. You might think this is a pretty stupid idea, and you'd be absolutely right. Because why would you put a coach in it? But then again, I'll go with the counter argument of why not? I've seen videos of coaches on the ring, but never gunning it like this. I thought, you know what, why not? So we're coming down through here, keeping our foot in it, just a dab on the brakes, coming around the corner. We're going to have to be braking at this next corner because it is very tight. There's no way this thing's going to make it at 50 miles per hour. Turning in, weight pulling over onto one side of the vehicle, and the inner side wheel skidding up a little bit. As we're getting through here, getting the revs right into that red band, coming round, dab on the brakes, turning in, squealing those tyres, and pushing this vehicle as fast as I can. I do not have any passengers on this vehicle though. I thought health and safety would be quite annoyed with me. We'll be braking really hard through here, and then powering on again, just getting the weight onto the front axle so we can corner a little bit better. And coming down this hill, dab on the brakes again a little bit, and accelerating out the other side. Rubbing the curbs a little bit. Got to be mindful of the curbs. They can puncture tires. It's not perfect map corporation on here. We're braking hard into this next section. You can see my brakes are really cooking up now. Really pushing them hard. Rear brakes are now fried. Front left hand brake is also getting up a hot side. The biggest problem with drum brakes is because they're quite a sealed unit compared to disc brakes, very little air ventilation will get to them to cool them down. And as we come up to our next hairpin of a corner, I'm still keeping my toe in it flat out and slamming on that brake pedal, cooking all the brakes. There's not even any skidding in this because the brakes are fading so much. Luckily enough, we're out of that section now. We're just going to be climbing the hills. I'm going to keep my foot well in this, trying not to touch any brakes, trying to get them to reduce that temperature. But as you can see, the fall off is very, very slow. I mean, I'm doing 40 miles per hour right now, and you think that the air going over the wheels would cool the brakes down a little bit more, but drum brakes just don't cool the same way disc brakes do. Well, we're onto a bit of a breather now. We're going to be climbing this hill. It's going to be a very long, painful hill to climb. We're going to be braking in this corner ahead of us now because there's no way I can make it without reducing a bit of speed. But you can see every time I touch the brakes, they are frying right up, and it's so much easier to keep the temperature up than it is to reduce the temperature, funnily enough. So really, I'm going to have to start be thinking of corners when I go into them now, because the brakes are just toast. I'm really getting them down without chucking a bucket of water on them. You know, this just not going to cool down like that. We are at a ridiculous temperature of the brakes. It's absolutely mental. And you're trying to stop 12 tons here, like, you know, it isn't going to happen. But you can hear we are flat out coming up this hill now, and it is struggling. We're still at 52 miles per hour, just clawing at 53 here and there. But it is a big, long, steep hill. Scenery is nice though, I must admit the scenery is quite nice, and it is nice relaxing pace that I can more or less relax going through here now. The ambulance is on the left hand side just in case I need it. Yeah, that might be handy for later on. If something goes wrong. Lucky enough, it'll only be me on the vehicle. I have no passengers on board, but if I was to put passengers on board, I'd be charging them a really good fee for it, you know. I'll make a ton of money from it if you think about it. What, an average coach has, what, 60 seats on it? If I charge each passenger €10, you know, because we're in Germany right now, so I think 90% sure is euro in Germany, so €10, 60 passengers, that's €600 in my pocket right there. I know right now we're averaging 2.4 miles per gallon, but it's only about 12 miles long, this track, so what's that? Let's call it 40 litres to go around here. Just to be on the safe side, we have a bit left over for the next run. That's only about €60 in fuel. You know, I'm still 540 euros up. You know, well, it's a great idea. Business plan right there. If anybody steals that, I get royalty rights, like, you know. Just saying. Anyway, yeah, I'll 10% commit. Oh no, 20% on that. As we come and exit this corner, we did have a dab of the brakes. You can hear them squeaking as I'm braking, and the temperature is quite high. They have cooled down a little bit, but nowhere near it enough. We are about to enter the fun part of the carousel. We're gonna take it right in there, dig it deep, in we go, and put our power on whilst we go around the other side. Thankfully, we don't have to brake, and we can still be mindful that the brakes are pretty much fried. Lucky enough, the coach isn't overheating though. The temperature of the coolant is a stable 91 degrees, and the oil is just over 100 degrees. So, engine-wise, the vehicle's quite happy. Brakes-wise, the vehicle is not so happy. But we are still climbing a bit of a hill right now. You can hear the power reducing, we're losing speed. Down to 45 miles per hour, still losing on the way up the hill we go, which is not a bad thing. You know, we don't have to carry a monumental amount of speed, but it would be nice to have a little bit more power, a few more horses maybe. Anyway, as you can see, we are going through corners and we are like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But this is where the fun part begins, because these latter section of these corners now are fast and quite, yeah, you can carry a lot of speed through them. So I'm carrying a lot of speed through them. I'm potent. You can hear it skidding as we're leaning over. Really push it over to the right side, dabbing the brakes and reduce a little bit of speed, and come flying down this section right now. Swinging it right over again, letting off the throttle and then powering back on. Just don't trust it just enough yet to go through here flat out. We're going to have to be braking now because this corner is quite tight, although it looks very wide. The back end sticking out a little bit. Over the curb we go, trying to maximize this next hand corner. Dab on the brakes again. Really skidding it in and using that curb on the exit. You can see my back brakes are really warming up. The front brakes aren't doing too bad. The right hand side one has gone back into the green, which you can't grumble at really. The rest of them are not so happy. So at least we know we have one good brake for the minute. One good brake to stop 12 tons. Anyway, coming up here, we're in third gear, flat out. There's a bit of wheel spin as the coach tilts right over and the wheel comes off the ground. I don't mind it going into the red on the revs. The engine is pretty tough and looking if I don't cause any damage. Let's see if we can have a bit of lift off going through here. Flat out 70 miles per hour. No lift off, but a bit of body rise up as the wheels went down and the body stayed pretty much straight. Anyway, did hit the brakes pretty hard. You can see how quickly they got hot. It's yeah, lucky enough we're towards the end of the lap, so the brakes is not going to be such a severe thing, hopefully. Coming down this hill flat out, we get up to 70 miles per hour again. Then we're going to lose a little bit as we go up the hill on the other side, down to 68 miles per hour. Doesn't sound fast, but you got to remember we are in 12 tons of absolute brick. You know, it's not even aerodynamic, is it? Like, you know, it's just literally a rectangle on wheels. So, yeah, all part of the fun and games. Coming around this corner, taking it brave, nearly onto the grass, and making it work. Swinging it as far left as we can. You can hear the wheels skidding away, and I reduce down to another gear. Next part, another carousel. We're going to go through this carousel really sort of missing it a little bit, swinging it through, bit of wheel spin on the way out the other side as the tail end does kick out, and up the hill we go. That is almost one lap completed in 12 tons of absolute rectangle metal. Round this corner we go. We don't even need to brake for this. It's, you know, just not even going anywhere near fast enough, but we are 50 miles per hour. Come on, it's a good speed. It's a good speed. You can't grumble at that. Coming down this nice long lovely straight, let's see what we can get out of this absolute beast of a machine. Just coming into my head right now, lucky enough when we get over the hill on the other side and down the dip and back up, it's uphill the other side of it, so we don't really have to use the brakes so much to slow us down. Let's hope we actually do slow down though, and I do plan it well, because if not, we're going to go straight into a barrier. Yeah, at least my GPS is also working and we are on a road as well. Scenery is all looking beautiful. We are hitting 80 miles per hour. And that's absolutely incredible in a rectangle. That is what, these are about 11 foot high, you know. It's absolutely brilliant. And I've only got 376 horsepower. I know I've got a mountain of torque, you know, because that's what these engines are designed for. But you get 80 miles an hour out of a 12-ton vehicle like this, that's as aerodynamic as a fist. You know, you can't really knock that, can you? It's doing really well, and we're not even overheating or nothing, and all we have done is absolute thrash this engine. And the only thing that's really failed on us is the brakes. So coming up the hill at the side, we are at 79 miles per hour, reducing our speed. Still flat out, it's not by choice, I've got to be quite honest with you. Coming up here, still flat out in 5th gear. Going to swing it over to the left hand side, take it as wide as I can and hard on the brakes. Get rid of that speed as I come over to the right hand side. Swinging that body roll right over and back towards the start line we go. Now, as we have finished that race and survived, it is time to see how far we can push this engine. See how much quicker we can get this lap to work. So I'm going to restart the coach in the exact same position we was in and tune up the engine. Whilst I'm tuning the engine, if you like what I'm doing right now, let me know down in the comments below if you'd like to see more of this stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'd also like to thank our channel members, which is Andy Good and Jeffrey Anderson. Thank you very much. Now back to the vehicle. I've had a little look around. The most I can push this vehicle is to 537 horsepower, which is a substantial gain from the previous one. You think I'm gaining 161 horsepower? That is a chunk of power. That's an average 2 litre, 2.2 litre petrol sedan. You know, it's an absolute beast hawk. So it's either going to go one or two ways as we're spinning out of the first corner already. I mean, how often do you see a coach spin its wheels? You know, it's crazy. I know gravity is on my side as the coach is leaning right over. Oh, I forgot to say, I've also put a set of race brakes on here because I want to really see if I can capitalize on a bit of time. That's why the brake pads are blue, because they are cold. They start becoming more efficient when they're in the green. Coming down to this corner now, we're hard-ish on the brakes, really just taking it gently and warming them up nicely rather than just stamping 100% of braking force on a set of cold brake drums. Anyway, you can see we are going through this section much quicker, rubbing the curbs, getting it much wider, sliding it over and having a mountain of body roll. Nothing I could do with the suspension is air suspension with a lovely air ride where you can adjust the height, and the height is on normal at the minute. If I go low, I'll end up scraping everywhere, and I don't think the coach moves above a certain speed when the setting is on low, because that's the kneel function where you let passengers off, and the higher function, I don't need any more body roll than what I've got right now, so medium will have to do. But we are doing 75 miles per hour right now as we're going past the ambulance on our left hand side, which we're probably going to need later on because this is an absolute power monster right now as we're going through this section. Let's see if I have to lift off in this next corner coming up as we take the right hand, because this is a very fast section right now. Rubbing that curb, gonna go get a nice run down this little bit of a hill here. We're doing 90 miles per hour already, 94, 95. That's absolute mental coming through here. All the way in 6th gear now. Still holding on to 97 miles per hour. Am I going to lift? I don't think I will. I'm gonna transit, sliding through, wheels skidding, and hard on that brake. 100% brake, slowing down. Oh, that was close. That was close. You can see on the right side, we also have 20 plus more pounds of turbo boost than what we did previously. That is going to help out a lot. We're coming down the section now, keeping our foot right in it, all the way at 90 miles per hour already, holding onto that body roll, trying to keep the coach straight as we can. Gonna let off a little bit and the power back on. Gonna keep my foot right down right now and letting off because I don't have the bottle. Over the curb we go, and hard on the brakes again as we're coming towards the end onto nearly. Ooh, that was so close to going onto the grass. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Ooh, that was, and still wheel spinning coming out of these corners. Oh, left, there it is. Oh, there's the smoke coming off those tires right now. Absolute power monster. And you think it's only an extra 161 horsepower. It's made such a difference coming through here. And it's only a few miles per hour here and there, but my gosh, that tree stands out by itself. I got distracted, sorry. Oh my gosh. Looking at the lovely series, swinging it right over there. The back end sliding round. Gonna dab onto the brakes a little bit, reduce that speed as we're coming through here. Going down the gearbox, went the wrong way there. And accelerating again, getting the speed back up. And then braking a little bit more, down the 3rd gear, coasting it round this corner. Yeah, this tire scraping away, losing their life. I can't wait for BeamNG to actually implement a much more sophisticated tire model. I do believe they are working on it, trying to create tire wear, tire temperatures and things like that, but it is proving to be quite difficult because they have been mentioning it a good few times. But it's an absolute blast of a game to play, and it's not all about crashing. You know, you can have a blast like we are right now, doing stupid stuff, braking hard, skidding the tires away. And you can see, look at the brake temperatures right now. They're 300 degrees and they're not even overheating yet. Absolutely brilliant. So that was the greatest choice to make, because I think if I didn't change the brakes, we would have been into a wall by now, to be quite honest with you. Anyway, we're at 75 miles per hour, braking again, down to 50 miles per hour. Round this corner we go. hear the tires holding on for dear life, and up the hill and out the other side. Lucky enough, we still do not have to lift through this corner, but we are, again, with the poly roll, getting a mountain of wheel spin, which is only a good thing, because that means I still have more power. I wonder how much more power I will have coming up this hill, because I know it's 161 horsepower, but it is a long, steep hill, this one. And I'm going to see if we can really push upon that. We're going to have to brake at the end of this section now, because there's no way I'm going to make it around this corner without a good pullback on speed. Coasting around in 4th gear, going to drop it down in the 3rd, get a bit of more revs through there. You can hear the engine over revving again because the inside wheel is sliding. As we're coming out of that long hilly section, we have gained up to 61 miles per hour. We're braking hard, down to 3rd gear, coasting the vehicle around, really pushing it, leaning over, oh, just made it. This coach really does lean. We're about to hit the carousel. How much power we got? We're at 49 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour. Still accelerating into the carousel we go, and I just don't go deep enough. I should have gone a little bit deeper. You can hear it sliding round, bit of wheel spin from the back tires, and leaning over, and a bit of yeah, it's worked out fun. It's been quite fun. It's quite brave. Oh, I feel the weight in this thing. Just trying to turn the wheel, you know, you're shuffling it so much because it was 1,080 degrees in a coach. So yeah, it's not a case of, you know, like a GT3 car, you can just do a little movements here and there. You really got to wrap the wheel around to get it to turn. Oh dear, look at that. We're just making it up the hill we go. 47 miles per hour. Absolute blazing speed as we're leaning over. Thinking, why did I choose to do this? But I wonder if we're going to make that jump again in a moment. Over the curb we go. Keeping the power in it. Dab on the brakes as we come around this next corner now. Swinging it over. Sliding through. Dab on the brakes again. And coming out the other side alive. See, the tail is starting to swing around a lot more because I'm carrying a lot more speed through me now, and powering on through. Gonna have to brake again because, like I say, this is a tight corner, although it doesn't look it. And coming out the hill on the other side, down over the curve. We're going to maximize this corner, see if I can do a jump out of this coach. Really scraping it and accelerating out the other side, and then powering on through. I'm going to try and keep as much speed as I can. Oh, go on, nearly went over then. Oh, that was close. 2 wheels then. 2 wheels. That was a brave move. That was brave. Now, if the YouTube camera was there, they would have loved that. That would have looked absolutely epic as we nearly go off the track again. Reducing all our speed, coming out there like a dummy and not carrying enough speed through that corner, just sliding it through. Here we go, 70 miles per hour. How fast we get? 71, 72. Will it make it? Will it jump? No, a little bit of a lift, but nowhere near what I was hoping for. Well, I am arguing with 12 tons of metal, but I would have still expected a bit of lift from the front. You know, the engine's at the back, the drivetrain's at the back, everything's at the back. The only thing at the front is me. So the front end is pretty light. Oh well. Maybe I should put some rocket boosters on this thing, and so we might make the jump then, but I don't think we'll make the stop on the other side. Coming through here, we're at 80 miles per hour. Absolute blazing bit of speed. But as we go over to the right hand side, we're going to rub that curb off the throttle, and oh no. Oh, that was so close. So close. I wonder how close the back end was to it. Oh, blimey. Anyway, going through the carousel and out the other side. We do actually do the carousel well. I can't grumble at that. Coming down the hill on the other side, we got up to 91 miles per hour. Absolutely brilliant, because that is a good 5 to 10 miles per hour more than we did previously. And you got to think though, I know it's only 5 or 10 more, and it does not sound a lot. Oh dear, no. Oh, that was close. Anyway, as I was saying, it might be only 5 or 10 more, but that's 5 or 10 more on a long straight with a rectangle that's 11 foot tall, arguing with a flat plane of wind going against the vehicle. So 5 or 10 is quite a lot. Anyway, I'll just shove it into park, because that'll do. Under 13 minutes for that lap. Under 13 minutes. Amazing. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.